Hey folks, it's your old pal King Waspinator. Woke up at 3 in the morning and the power is entirely out. At least it's not just us, but it's been like 40 minutes, almost an hour since I got up, and it's still dark. And it's a little spooky, so it's the perfect time to talk about the most scariest subject of all in the tabletop role-playing game community. And that's all the moral proselytizing and totalitarian tactics that a continuing amount of companies and also people higher up in the shill hierarchy, keep promoting. Maybe it's a byproduct of the fact that role-playing games are kind of, inclusive of kids, ages 12 and up, increasingly younger as the years go by. And so therefore, since kids might be looking at this, don't we have any responsibility to teach them any sort of lessons and all that kind of stuff? And the answer is no. Like, no corporation that uses, near slave labor in East Asia to make toys has any right to be telling anybody anything. It's not their place. And this, it's less so much really about imparting some sort of moral lesson upon people. It's more the people at the top of the structure demanding that those of us using their products follow the same rules that they've put on themselves for, what they're supposed to promote in said products. It's not on us to include anything in role-playing games that we don't feel comfortable with playing. And it's weirdly totalitarian to demand that of people, especially in the books themselves. People on the internet will express their opinions at each other, and some people are a bit more forceful in their intent on wanting other people to conform with the sorts of things they're talking about. But the company selling products, it's not their place to dictate how these products get used and presented. It's not. These are entertainment products that once they're in our hands as dungeon masters and game masters, or whatever terminology we're supposed to be using to avoid using the term master now, it's up to us to manifest these things. And frankly, people who are not inclined to including things in their role-playing games that you would like to see included in those role-playing games, when forced to include those things, there's a good chance they're not going to do a very good job of it, either because they don't know what the hell they're talking about it, or they're not going to take it seriously and are going to do it sarcastically and subversively. Role-playing games are not a television show or a movie or a comic book or a traditional novel. The people producing them have absolutely no control over the actual experience of how these products are used and presented and interacted with. And in a way, that's always going to be a flaw from certain people's point of view, especially at a corporate structure who want to have brand control, which is why they want to do things like, push us all into using a virtual tabletop, because in that way they can have complete 100% control over the experience people are having, and they don't have to try to browbeat people into doing the quote-unquote right thing. I don't know. I still don't see anybody going house to house taking people's books away from them, and I don't see people being banned outright from giving them money. They'll ban platforms from carrying books, but they won't ban people from using those platforms to give those platforms money. So there is some sort of disconnect going on here, but there's a thing that for decades now, if not longer, possibly even centuries, where the intellectual class, the well-educated class, kind of has been beating their heads against the mass stupidity of common humanity. And it is sad that the world's not better, and that people don't just wake up and do the right thing and live together in harmony and hold hands across the world and drink a Coca-Cola. But is the fault really in humanity, or is possibly the fault in all these lofty ideas that people keep talking themselves into and then disappointing the rest of their lives over? Because people are not going to measure up to this non-human standard that we seem to hold for ourselves. What is it exactly that it is that we're comparing ourselves to in a lot of these instances where we decided to just start taking a dump on human nature? We don't hold ourselves up to the same high standards of what? Elves? Angels? Aliens? Primitive hominids that are no longer with us on this planet, like the Neanderthals? Like, as compared to what? Is often kind of my response to some of the blanket statements people have to say about humankind and how terrible we are. Okay, yeah, but as compared to what? And don't say stuff out of the animal kingdom. Animals are nasty too, and a lion would literally kill for some McDonald's. So, anyway, I guess that's about it. I guess to some degree these people feel like they're required to put these things in these books telling us how we're supposed to run these games and what we're supposed to present and portray in these games so that the people playing the games get this perfect hands across humanity picture of human society, which flies in the face of a lot of what these fantasy and science fiction settings are trying to do anyway, but that's all besides the point. As long as you know that Renegade doesn't want fascists playing Hunter the Gathering kind of stuff, you can either ignore it, or you could, I guess, abandon the hobby, or try to find people who aren't trying to preach at you, or at least not in the same way, in the older way, where you present ideas and let people come to their own conclusions, but you don't tell them that they have to change their mind and agree or else. Like Total Party Skills, so check out links. Hey, like and subscribe, all that kind of shit. My God, it's boring. There's like nothing to do. Can barely even get an LTE signal to like watch internet crap. It's dark, and I slept for 5 hours, so I'm not going to be going back to sleep anytime soon. So I'm taking my misery out on you. Until next time, stay waspinated.